Welcome to the RPGamer review of Keep Driving. This review is read by Sperumbres, written by Nix, and the video is edited by Earthrug. Unlike a lot of my friends, I did not get my driver license and first car until much later in life. Getting a license and buying a first car feel like a hallmark of adulthood, allowing us to go wherever we want and for as long as we want. Growing up, road trips were not common for me, but they became more so when I brought my first car, with my husband and I driving across Ontario to visit small towns and hike in nearby provincial parks. Part of the fun of a good road trip comes from the company you keep, the tune you have playing on your CD deck, and the pit stop along the way. YCJY Games Keep Driving is all about wanderlust, first loves, and making big mistakes, all while working through a procedural generating open world. While there are some rough patches, Keep Driving interesting gameplay loops as player returning for more. It is the early 2000s and our protagonist has brought his first car. Before setting out onto the open road, the player is prompted to assemble a small profile of the nameless protagonist. Does he have a good relationship with his parents? Is he employed? What type of care package he is taking for the open road? These three questions build the foundation for how the protagonist's road trip could potentially play out. Having a good relationship with one parent provides the option to bail out the player if they run out of gas or money, while selecting the care package of beer and an electric guitar offer the player expensive items to potentially pawn if one finance become an issue on the open road. While there are only a handful of background options, each with their pros and cons, Keep Driving is a procedurally generated game and all other facets, and this is the only area that the players has any true control. With the trusty map in hand, the one main ending the player will always have access to is the Way Out Festival. It is the reason our protagonist set out on his road trip to begin with. As the protagonist drives between different points of interest, other quests become available. For example, at one potential stop, the player may meet a little girl who is looking to find her father. She got into the wrong bus, she's frightened, and she just wants to go home. By picking her up, the player will find themselves going back and forth between potential points until they find a lost child poster at a restaurant. Only then can the player fully complete the quest. Stopping to help people along the way offer unique bonus such as money or gas, which make them absolutely worth doing. Given that earning cash is one of the most difficult elements in the game because every town is procedurally generated and may take players a while to find an employment office, so the side quests are the alternative to obtain some extra moolah. Like any summer road trip, there are resources to manage along the way, such as gas or money. When players encounter something on the road, they are given a series of obstacle markers related to resources. Using the protagonist's tags from the dashboard mirror, glove compartment, or the abilities given to the player by the passenger, the goal is to eliminate the obstacle with the corresponding tags before they do damage. Align the card perfectly and players can go a second time. Beyond the resources complication, there are buffs and debuffs. Particularly difficult obstacle might require an extra hit due to armor, taking 2 tags to eliminate. Listening to the radio can add musical note over one obstacle, so when it is eliminated, it takes out the 2 beside it. As the trip goes on, the obstacle can become more complicated and numerous, ranging from a nice drive with plenty of gas and 0 obstacle to 10 obstacles of every variety, all with armor just because you try to outrun the cops from a traffic ticket. Keep Driving minimalist narrative does itself a lot of favor given that each playthrough is randomized. While driving, there will be moments when the player will be given the option to pick up a hitchhiker, each with their pros and cons. The Hurricane, as she is affectionately known, can remove one type of threat at the start of a battle, but one of her negative qualities is that she will often leave a mess in the car, or worse, force the player to shoplift. As the protagonist and the hitchhiker level up, skill can be purchased and equipped to provide different abilities, such as skill that automatically target certain threat or remove a threat before the combat begins. The car choice at the beginning of the game determines how many passengers the player can pick up. The sedan seats 4 people, meaning players can have 4 different hitchhikers in the vehicle and use all of their individual abilities during combat. The downside of this, of course, is that the player is also forced to take the negative threat from each passenger. It is a simple battle system, but some awkward UI issues body it. Sometimes player will click an ability only for it to not work as intended. Items in the glove compartment would sometimes become unusable during an encounter without reason, or on occasion the player will click on it only to find when they hit use nothing happens. While the game isn't particularly difficult, a lot of the combat boils down to optimal resource management, though this comes with the caveat that money can be challenging to obtain at the start of the run, and encountering enemies that can drain one found can make certain encounter all the more difficult. It's a serviceable system but lacks remarkability. Another issue that players are likely to struggle with the inventory management system. Again, the selected vehicle at the beginning determines how much trunk space one has, and there are a huge and obvious difference between the sedan, muscle car, and pickup truck. Regardless of which car one starts with, inventory space always remains a problem, and the only solution is hoping enough cash is collected to buy a roof rack. It's very easy for the inventory to fill up with clutter, and there's no easy way to adjust the inventory for larger items. Often, if players are hurting for space and cash at the beginning of the game, they are forced to sell valuables to get some reprieve. Even moving items around feels clunky, and there is no easy way to make adjustments or even move items between the trunk and the additional rack once it's obtained. Worst off is that a lot of valuable upgrades for vehicles often take up way too much space. If the procedurally generated goods are not in one's favor, to offer a garage where say upgrade can be applied, it's very easy to lose and feel frustrated by the lack of space. Where Keep Driving truly shines is in the audiovisual department. The detail in the game's pixelated background are breathtaking, offering what one will expect from a simulated road trip. From the different obstacles, such as large tractor, to mud getting on the player's vehicle when driving through rain, there are so many little flourishes to notice. With RPGamer games really understanding that there should be sight to see, people to encounter, and all of them different and unique. Even smaller detail like the visual flourishes on the hitchhikers, from the ruffling and the bright dress to the little girl's blonde pigtails and plush bunny, are pleasing to the eye. The soundtrack absolutely slaps, with the bass setlist entirely composed by Whiskers. Tracks such as Swirl and Dishwasher give full-on road trip vibes with their hummable synthwave indie pop sound. As the game goes on, players can purchase more CDs and even create playlists for the drive. There's a lot of Swedish indie bands to discover, and each of them are a treat for the ear. All good road trips start with an amazing soundtrack, and RPGamer games and Whiskers nailed this part of the assignment. While Keep Driving has its flaw, I can deny how addicted I was to the game overall. With short playthrough that clocked anywhere between an hour or 2, I became obsessed with obtaining all of the endings, trying different hitchhiker skills, and just enjoying the ride through pixelated background with my Swedish indie pop and the CD player. While the game's story is minimal, it is a point in its favor as it allows the player to create their own road trip adventure. Even though elements struggle, The writing need another editing pass and the awkward UI make from some sticky situation. There's a lot of love that keep me coming back for more. RPGamer give Keep Driving 3.5 out of 5. For more detail, hit up the link in the description below. For more video content, subscribe to the channel. Follow us on Twitch for daily stream of your favorite RPGs. Join on the discussion at rpgamer.com on Discord. And for the latest in the RPG news, head over to rpgamer.com.